Okay, cool. So thanks everyone for joining. We're here to talk about a couple recs that Jerry Widmer has for his group, but specifically these are nuclear roles. They are in two locations, so although they are the exact same type of support, we do want to kind of clarify two different requests to kind of worry about as far as where to submit, so there's no confusion. I'm going to turn off the transcript. That's weird. And then we'll share the recs real quick. Okay, cool. So Jerry, I first want to talk about the US one just because most suppliers on this call are supporting in the US region. But before really jumping in, everyone, you might have had myself reach out about availability for some candidates that were submitted to the other nuclear need about a month, even a month and a half ago at this point. And to be clear, this request is for the exact same need, 138-17478. Today I reached out to the suppliers again, Jerry, just to kind of confirm if they were still available, and if they are, they're going to be submitted. I think you may have seen a couple already, but once I get that confirmation, I'll send the list over to you. But just to confirm, guys, these are those exact same roles, and we'll talk to Jerry in a second as far as what they really entail, because before we only really said nuclear, mechanical nuclear engineer roles. So Jerry, I'll give you kind of the reins here. Can you kind of explain what type of talent we're really looking for and what they'll be doing in the day-to-day?
Sure. For the U.S. one, it will really be
Yep.
supporting our nuclear team out of our Kansas City office, doing some preliminary design on this BWRX 300 small modular reactor design. And so it's basically system design type of experience that we're really looking for.
And just to check from our conversation yesterday, both this one and the role in Canada, these are fully virtual at the moment. They're not going to be needing to go to any site, correct? It's just
That's
virtual
correct.
supporting the KC office.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Obviously, if they're in the Kansas City area, they're welcome to go into the office and work from our office. But if they're outside of the Kansas City area, virtual employment will definitely be available to these individuals.
Okay. And so quick logistics, everyone, is we're looking to start as soon as possible once background can clear, obviously. Jerry on his side is confirming what type of interview needs to take place. It's not just going to be as soon as submitted, assigned like the previous need at the Southern Nuclear Plant, most likely. But confirming that, and we'll get those details to you shortly. And duration, right now it's going through April of 2022. And Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a chance of extension past that date, but that's what we have as of now, right?
That's correct. Yeah, there's a good likelihood that could be extended.
Okay, perfect.
Mike Zhang's on the line. Hey, Mike, as far as interviews, I assume we're going to go through just a interview process like we've done previously for positions in nuclear. Is that correct?
Yes, we'll do that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So once we go through the resumes and identify individuals that we'd like to interview, then we'll let you know, Zach.
Okay, perfect. And just curious for both of you guys, is that fairly thorough, or is it, one interview with possibly, 2 or 3 panel members and then a decision would be made, or is it multi-steps before an up or down decision?
In general, it'll be one interview with 2 or 3 Black & Veatch professionals on the interview, probably for an hour, and then we'll get back to you after we make a decision based on the single interview. You agree, Mike?
Yes. That's how we've done it in the past as well.
Yep.
Okay. And then as far as skill set, suppliers on the line, do just want to point out for the US-based role, a PE license is not necessarily required, but it is a preference. So it does kind of put them to the top of the list. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're sourcing. As far as skills, Jerry and Mike, anything you want to really call out from this list as far as, once you start looking at resumes, what are the top 2 or 3 that you're really looking for to decide to move on to the interview stage?
Yeah, and Mike can probably add to this, but what we're really looking for is obviously people that have some experience in the nuclear engineering field and have, significant experience doing system design for nuclear power plants. And more on the, I'll say balance of plant, on the supporting systems to the reactor. The OEM will design the reactor, but our scope will include, a lot of the supporting systems or balance of plant type systems for that nuclear power plant. Mike, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. So I think it just depends on their experience level. Obviously, if they're a younger professional, then the expectation will be different. But if they're more seasoned, then we have to look at what they've done throughout their career. And so we're not looking for people that have done core designs. That's not what we are contracted for. But if that was part of their work, in addition to work on BOP systems and nuclear facilities, designing and such, that doesn't hurt. But we're not requiring people to do hardcore type nuclear reactor design.
Okay, perfect. Gonna open this one up before we talk about the Canadian role. Really, guys, there's not many nuances between the two. They're both still virtual, and different type of license requirement would be preferred but not required. But real quick, for any agencies on the call, any questions about what this job really entails or skill set they're looking for while we have Jerry and Mike on the line? Feel free to just unmute if you have a question.
This is Mike, but while the questions are being thought, and just wanted to maybe add to something on the Canadian side. For the PE license, sure. That's correct, preferred. And also add to that the PN for Ontario, if that's.
Yeah, I think we have that
for visual.
Okay. I think we put that in there, but Canadian professional.
So just to check, is it still not required, Mike and Jerry, or is it definitely required within Canada?
It's not required. Ontario. It's not required, but it says where it says Canadian professional engineering license preferred, I would prefer to say Ontario.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me add that little nuance here because that is definitely important. Okay, cool. Since we're on it, we'll just take any questions that do come up towards the end here. But any other nuances you do want to call out regarding the Canadian rec versus the US one, or more or less the same, just supporting a different office?
I think the latter. I think they're pretty much the same, other than the office they support.
Okay, cool.
Mike, do you agree?
Yep, I concur.
Great. And then for positions, Mike, I worked with Jerry to get these open, but we do just have 2 positions listed for each of them. Is that accurate in your opinion, or depending on how much actual good talent we have coming in, is there a need to get any more heads brought on board, or is it truly just 2 in each region for now?
That's what we wanted to start with, to just start seeing the resumes come
Teams called I think there might be opportunity to increase that in the future. Correct, Mike?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, suppliers on the line, do you guys have any questions for Jerry or Mike about these nuclear support roles? Hey, nice and easy then. Cool.
All right.
All right. Jerry, again, for the US ones, we should see those candidates coming in that we already inquired about a little bit ago. So those will fill in a little bit quicker. For the Canadian Reqs, it might take a little bit more time, but we should see them coming in the next few days here. And I'll connect with both of you to see how they're looking, and if you want to get things moving as far as interviews or need to get some corrections as far as the sourcing.
Perfect. Yeah, I see one of them in Wand already. So.
Perfect. Sounds good. Guys,
all right.
If you have any other questions or any questions, shoot me an email and I'll reach out to them separately to get an answer. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks.